So we're going to factor the expression 12x squared minus 23x plus 5. Notice that it is a quadratic expression, and it's in standard form. That means it's n-ordered. The exponents of the variable are in decreasing order. First we have x squared, then just x, and then nothing, which is x to the 0 power. Okay, so first of all, we look for a common factor among the three terms of this trinomial. Let's see, not all of them have x, so there's no x common factor. And the numbers 12 and 23, well, 23 is a prime number, so unless the 12 and the 5 were multiples of 23, we could have a common factor, so we don't. Okay, so we don't have a common factor. So now, because this 12, the leading coefficient, is not a 1, I'm going to take the 12 and the 5. Let's see. And I'm going to multiply them. I'm going to multiply the 12 and the 5. And that would be 12 times 5 is 60. So really, I'm going to be looking for numbers that satisfy this. Let's see, 12 times 5 is 60. So we need two numbers that multiply to give 60 from here and add to give negative 23 from here, the linear term. Okay, so we look for two numbers that multiply to give 60 and add to negative 23. Since 60 is positive, these numbers have to be both positive or both negative. Okay, now they have to add to give negative 23. Since they have to add to give negative 23, both have to be negative. So what two numbers multiply to give positive 60 and add to give negative 23? So we start trying. Divide 6, think of the two negatives. Divide 60 by 1, so 60 and 1 is not 60 and 1 is 61, not 23. Well, maybe 60 divided by 2, that's 30. 30 and 2 is 32, not 23. 60 divided by 3 is 20. 20 and 3, that's 23. So those could be it. It could be negative. So negative 20 and negative 3. So now we use these numbers, negative 20 and negative 3, to rewrite the original expression, but splitting the middle term into 2. This negative 23x, we're going to split it into 2 using the negative 20 and the negative 3. So we copy the first term, that's 12x squared, and now we're going to split it into negative 20 and negative 3, and they have to have the x. This is equal to negative 23x here. And the 5, we just copy. Okay, so now we have 4 terms in this quadratic expression. And so what we're going to do is we are going to group these 4 terms in 2 groups of 2 to get a common factor. These first 2 and then these 2. Just like this. The first 2 and the next 2. And we have to get a common factor in each group. What do 12x squared minus and negative 20x have in common? What's the common factor? Well, they are both divisible by 4 and they both have an x. So the common factor is 4x. So I take 12x squared and divide it by 4x, and 12 divided by 4 is 3, and x squared divided by x is 3x. So when I divide this by 4x, I get 3x. And when I divide negative 20 by 4x, negative 20x divided by 4x, that would be negative 20 divided by 4 is negative 5. X divided by x is 1, so minus 5. So I get 3x minus 5. And I write it as such in a parentheses because it is multiplying. Okay? Now this second term, what do these have in common? Negative 3x and 5. Well, negative 3 or positive 3 and 5 are both prime numbers, so they don't have anything in common. They don't have a common factor other than a 1. So I'm not going to write it. I'm just going to write this sign, minus, which really it is meant to be a negative 1. I need parentheses to have this same term. So I'm going to write it like this. Notice what happened here. The sign of the 5 changed. Why? Because I was dividing negative 3x divided by negative, which there's a 1 there, negative 1, that is positive 3x. And my plus 5 divided by negative 1 is minus 5. Do I need to write the negative 1? I can. I don't have to at this point, but I'm going to just write it there. I changed the color here a little just to show you something. The 4x is still the same 4x. The 3x minus 5 is this 3x minus 5. Then we have minus 1, which I wrote there. And then we have 3x minus 5, which is here. Now, I want you to notice that these two, this first thing and this second thing, are being subtracted. But they have something in common. Yes, I indicated it in red. That is 3x minus 5 is a common factor. So I'm going to apply the distributive property again and say that 4x and the minus 1 both multiply the same 3x minus 5. So I write it like this. 4x minus 1, which is there, is going to multiply the 3x minus 5. See, 4x times 3x minus 5 and negative 1 times 3x minus 5. And really, those are our factors from our original expression. We just write them both in black. And we're done.